Thanks for staying with us. Front Page is up next. Joining us this morning is Chief Coordinating Officer, Sustainable Africa. He's here with us. I'm talking about
Sustainable Stories.
Sustainable Stories Africa, Uade Ahimie. He's here with us as well. And you too can be part of the front pages of the newspapers by calling the number that you would find right there on the screen.
And the name of the Chief Coordinating Officer of Sustainable Stories Africa is Uade Ahimie.
Yes.
You didn't mention his
No,
name.
I did. I actually mentioned
He
his
actually
name.
did.
Oh,
Good morning, Benga. Good morning.
I actually did.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning. Welcome. So, let's start off with the big story. Daily Trust has that story that's gotten everyone worried. The front page there. Fuel price may go up. Marketers are already singing. Major marketers of petroleum products yesterday warned that the introduction of 15% import duty on petrol and diesel could signal another round of fuel price increase. The approval of the duty by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is causing division in the downstream sector of the oil and gas industry, with some economic experts applauding the move as a welcome development aimed at discouraging importation of petroleum products and supporting local refineries. Uade, you've been in this industry, you've been there, you've done that and looked at it carefully. Let's start off with that first story before we read out the other stories. I like us to always go straight at it because we do not have much time on a Friday. What's your take?
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So first and foremost, I'd like to clarify a few things because I've been listening to so many analysts talk about the petroleum, the oil and gas sector. The first thing we need to understand is that it's made up of three components: the upstream, where you produce the crude, which has a linkage to what you call the downstream. The midstream, where you have storage and logistics. So the ships have to carry them, pipelines work in that space too, and so on. And then the second part is the midstream, where you have the refining. So products come out of the ground, you move them to refineries, they produce them, and then the major, aside from the refinery, the other major aspect of the midstream is storage and logistics. How do you move products from one point to the other? So that's why I said the midstream, where you have storage and logistics, connects to every part of the oil and gas industry. Then you have the downstream, where it comes into the petrol stations. Are you with me? And people can get them into their cars. So whether it's fuel or diesel, or whether it's petrol or diesel or jet fuel, and so on and so forth. So we need to first understand that. So when I continually hear in Nigeria, are you with me? Upstream, downstream, what is happening to the midstream? We have tank farms all across this country. Like I always say, and I'll state it again clearly again today, Nigeria's logistic and warehousing infrastructure that was built in between 1974 and 1977 and commissioned in 1978 was the state of the art when it was built.
Around the Apapa
area. So what you have in Apapa is what you call the strategic storage system. So just in case there is a gap, you can import and then you can transfer through the pipelines. So there's Mosimi, which provides, there's Ilorin, there's Sokoto, there's Benin, and all these things, all these warehousing facilities and pipelines are connected to every refinery in Nigeria. Every refinery in Nigeria. Now that broke down, and what happened? Nigeria became more of an import nation for petroleum products. Then you saw the siege in Apapa. Now you have, and when people talk about warehousing, it's not just Apapa. There's Warri, there's Ogara, there's Calabar, there's Uyo. And the reason is simple, so that you can move products either through ship, which is one of the most common logistics, what's it called? Elements that you use to move products across the world. It's not just Nigeria. And then you have waterways in Nigeria. That's ships, vessels, and all. Why? So that you can take away so much vehicular movement, heavy duty vehicular movement on the roads.
Explosions and avoid
exactly, and things like that. Now, why do you now have the tankers that distribute? They are majorly supposed to distribute within localities. They don't need to do cross cross states, one day, 2 day, cross-country travels. And it just beats me every time. Now, I've heard Dangote refinery, 650,000 capacity.
Increasing now.
Let's leave the increase. That's a different thing entirely. Okay. I don't even want to talk about that. 650,000. So if you're working at optimal capacity, 95%, let's even say the 100%. And for every barrel of crude, you have 73 liters of petrol that come out of it. Now, give or take, so you say maybe about 50 million liters of petrol will come out every day. Now, anybody who understands the theory of economics and why warehousing and logistics come in is because you don't produce and sell all you have for one day. Because if you do that, then there will be a shortage. So if Nigeria is currently consuming 50 million liters a day based on the records, and we're producing 50 million liters from Dangote refinery and transporting them every day, let's also remember that some of this transportation movement or vehicular movement will mean that parts of Nigeria will not get these products maybe for another 24 hours. So what happens? Are there going to be shortages? Are you now saying that all those warehouses...
So that's why we have strategic reserves and tank farms.
Oh yeah, that's why you have tank farms in all those areas. So people can buy, store, sell. And I've always said, and I maintain, and anybody who is in the corridors of power or who has been in the corridors of power should challenge me. At a point in this country, petrol was not sold at the same price. In the 70s, I might have been small, but I do remember, because I remember when my siblings were in school in Ibadan and they needed to go and pick them, we bought a full tank. My father would tell my mom, we would buy the full tank of petrol in Lagos because it was more expensive to fuel it, to buy petrol in Ibadan. So why are we now all coming to say, oh, is to protect local refineries? And let me talk about local refineries so that people better understand. The largest local refinery is Dangote. Boa is building a 200,000 barrel capacity in Uyo. Then we have Nigeria's combined refinery at 445. Now, listen to all the other refineries, and they're all, first and foremost, they are all modular refineries. Now, when those refineries were built, and those who are in that space can correct me, those modular refineries was to help to refine crude to get out diesel. And it hasn't changed. But let me read out the modular refineries. Walter Smith, 5,000 barrels a day, operations since 2020. Edo Refinery and Pharmaceuticals, 1,000 barrel and 5,000 barrel. DuPont Midstream, 2,500 barrels per day in Edo State. Opak Refinery, 10,000 barrels per day, modular refinery in Kwale. Niger Delta Petroleum Refinery, owned by Aradol, 11,000 barrels per day, modular refinery. So what exactly are we talking about? Why are we not focusing on what the things are? How do we create policies that will bring in the investment, that would help to ensure that distribution, logistics, warehousing, and distribution is fully utilized? We're talking about pipelines that cuts across 923,000 square kilometers of Nigeria that has rotted away. And then we're saying, oh no, let's put more trucks on the road, roads that we don't have, roads that... There was an accident on, I was going for a session at 7 o'clock yesterday, and I left home at 6:55 because my time said 25 minutes. But I didn't get into the studio till 7:40. Why? Because the route I usually would take, which is connects from turn back and come into this side. The traffic, I was just lucky that the traffic was just starting to build, so I had to turn back and come back and go and pass 7 Up and get to where I was going to.
I'd like you to
These are the things we're continually talking about. So let's stop all this. Oh, it's to protect local refineries. Which local refineries are we protecting?
So they're putting the cart before the horse.
The ones that Nigeria builds that is not working.
We'll come to you. Let's say Uju is calling us. Hello, good morning, Uju. Hello, Uju, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is Uade Ahimie from Anambra State.
Okay, Uju, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to congratulate that man that comes from the room. That said he never celebrated the death of his enemy. And he told us that he fought Biafra. When God does come now.
Unfortunately, Uju, we can't hear
the quality of your audio is
The quality
poor,
of your
so-
audio is not too clear. Sorry about that. Please try and drop a call and call again. Thank you. All right.
So we you
So
know,
as it is now, just to break it down, it means that in as much as there's 15% import duty, it does not favor Nigerians, as it were, or any local refinery except one, which is Dangote, and then eventually Goa.
so it favors the local refinery that can produce it.
They have capacity.
That has that capacity. That's my opinion. Because the Nigerian refineries, 145,000 barrels, are not working. We spent 10 years and over.
So maybe this policy should have come
It should have
later
come
when
after
you
they
have
fixed-
everybody
after they
on
fixed
board.
all the refineries, then they can bring the policies. That's what we're looking at, maybe. It's like putting a cart before the horse.
Oh yes, in my own opinion, yes, that's what
Fix
they're doing.
all of them first.
Can you fix them? Sell them to those. I've always said that. Sell them to those who can manage them and put it in. And you know, when people talk about refinery, just on our coast here, Côte d'Ivoire, the SAR refinery, which feeds Ghana, Côte d'Ivoire, and I think one other country. Do you understand? They've grown their capacity from 30,000 in the 60s to 100,000 now, and they're planning to grow that capacity. And we don't hear that they are not working. I know some of the transactions that were done for the swaps. Some of those refined products came out of African refineries, not Europe. African refineries. So what exactly do we need to do? And say, oh, we can't import petrol. Oh, them is wasting our foreign exchange. First and foremost, are you with me? Crude oil transactions are priced in dollar. So whether Dangote buys in Naira in here, and all, every transaction that goes through the upstream are priced in dollars. So you will find the upstream majors, what do?
Still controlling the price.
No. When they do their budgets, there's a comment. When they do their budgets in dollars, they now translate it to Naira at that exchange, so that because they are going to do those transactions locally. So if we don't understand that there's upstream, midstream, and downstream, and we want to systematically, once again, kill the midstream, storage, logistics. Midstream is not only refining.
There's trade as well, which should be looked into. There's waterways.
And trade comes out also of refining. Aside from crude, everybody thinks that crude is the only thing you trade. No, you trade refined products. And just to add to it, because I think there's a call coming in. The last thing is that all the other derivatives that come out of the crude, maybe about 14 to 16 of them, what's happening to them? Why aren't they going into our industries?
And there's a lot to talk about on the fuel price. The marketers are actually talking right now as we speak. They're not happy about the 15%, and I'm worried personally. I've talked about my worry is the time. It looks too short. November 30 for implementation, just a few weeks.
And the petrol stations not
And the
even
petrol
waiting
stations are not
for
even waiting for
implementation.
implementation. The prices have gone up now as we
Yes.
speak this
Oh,
morning.
there are queues.
The queues
Some
have
don't
started.
have.
Some don't even have.
And those who have, of course, are going to.
They're going to hoard it and wait.
Well-
So why do we keep making the same old mistakes, knowing fully well how
That there will be
peculiar
ripple
our
effects,
situation
yeah.
is? The ripple effects will now come down to transportation. People will be affected.
Well,
But before you go on, let's take the call from Samuel in Niger State.
Oh, we lost
Okay,
that.
I think
We
we lost that caller.
All right, we'll go back to Daily Trust. Let's look at other stories. Now that we've spent more time explaining deeply on what to expect, especially with the new 15% import
price increase,
duty.
definitely.
Yeah, I think we're going to see fuel go to 1,000 plus, especially before
Possibly.
December. And it's already happening as we speak. Army redeploys 67 generals. Tinubu demands results. What APC can do with 2/3 National Assembly majority. Bauchi to create additional 29 LGA seeks NAS approval. And 8 die in Lagos-Ibadan Expressway crash. Cameroon's opposition leader flees. UN France warn against repression. air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. I was going to talk about this 11.5 security levy as at on Tuesday, because that's an industry I'm very interested in, the hospitality industry. And the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace said $11.5 for 30 December. Anybody that's coming in, you have to pay this particular fee. But I don't want us to possibly dwell on it. I'd like us to look at this particular story. Army redeploys 67 generals, Tinubu demands results. Tinubu has said, crush insecurity. We had a security expert earlier join us, and we had asked, is it going to be the same old? What do you think? It's going to be different?
There must be a political will to crush insecurity. So you can redeploy all the security agents, apparatuses, and the heads and all. But if they don't see that commitment also, then there is a problem. You know, it's not by word of mouth. Oh, Joe, go and buy me bread. Where's the money? You know, so those are things that we need to think about. So if you give
matching orders, you need to also follow up with the support.
Oh yeah, you must back matching orders with support. And support is equipment, funding. And you've heard, it's not today we've been hearing. Army is poorly funded, even with billions in budgets and all. Some, we spend so much money on buying equipment. Some of them have come, some of them have not come. Have they been used? Have they not been used? Were they used rightly? And all these things are things that we, even those within that space, down psychologically. Okay, you will purchase the equipment. So when are they coming? Okay, people have gone for training. Sometimes people go for training. They come back 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Equipment hasn't come. They've forgotten the things they learned in training because they are not practicing it every day. So these are the realities. So we can say demands, you can demand anything from anybody, but you must there must be that willingness to back it with not just words, but with the resources that is required.
Very key. We'll go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue the front pages of the newspapers. Do well to stay with us. We're right back. Bigger, over to you.
You're welcome back to the newspaper front pages. We still have Uade here, and we're analyzing the headlines. Interesting. I believe we're looking at the Daily Trust newspaper.
Yeah, we have just one more story to go to.
Yes, and air travelers kick as NCAA introduces $11.5 security levy. I mean, this feels like a shakedown.
Well,
doesn't it?
When you are broke.
Because what's the meaning of security levy?
Okay, so
are the airport premises not meant to be secured?
It's interesting you said that. Security levy is to provide security at the airport, so that levy. But of course, when as an administration, you are broke, you either borrow or you create new ways to generate revenue. So you become ingenious in how you create those revenues. And you know, something beats me. Across Africa, Nigeria has the highest ticketing price for
IATA. I said Nigeria's
our taxes
tickets
so
are exorbitant.
Let me break your heart. I traveled in May, and I looked at the breakdown of the ticket. The ticket, I flew, and because I wanted to fly African, I flew Ethiopian Airlines, and it cost me about 2.6 million. And all the other airlines, the minimum was in the range of 3.1 to 3.8. And then I said, let me look at the breakdown of the Ethiopian airline ticket. $1,001,000 naira on that ticket breakdown was for fuel tax. So in 2.6 million, almost 1.1 million was fuel tax. It's ridiculous.
And the point is, what are all those monies used for? Just earlier this week, the FIRS said they declared a record revenue haul that they've made since 2023.
And then the president is still borrowing.
What's the money used for?
The president has a lifeline of borrowings that is close to 21.1 billion. Why? You don't have money to fund anything. And also, for me, in my own opinion, what exactly are we funding? Why are we doing projects that are not going to generate new revenue? Or create social amenities that will create the opportunities to generate new revenue. You know, I've been hearing, I think over the news, electricity companies are going to recapitalize. Electricity companies, who are they working for now? Are they working for the states that have done the laws, or are they still part of the federal government system? And that is just funny.
But I wish we had enough time.
Just one last thing. Meanwhile, the biggest debtor to these electricity companies is who?
The government.
The government.
Okay, I rest my case. Just come.
And they
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Uade, for joining
Yeah.
us. Thank you. We'll go on a break. Sam Nandi is here with us for the weekend starter entertainment update. Stay with us.